Okay, so as the holidays are creeping up on us and travel is picking up as well, if you pack a lighter TheraBand in your suitcase, you never have to stop doing Pilates. So a couple things that are really good to help know where you are in space. Put the TheraBand over your hips, straighten your arms all the way out. That pinky edge of your hand is down on the mat, and you're gonna push your hips up into the TheraBand. And so this helps keep the direction of your pelvis being the lead. And then you roll your spine down, keeping your hips in the TheraBand as long as you can, and roll out. The first motion is a press of the low back, and then push your hips into the TheraBand as your quads push towards your knees, keeping the TheraBand down, hands down, rolling it all the way back and rocking out of your pelvis. Doing as many really as you want of these. And as you keep holding your arm down, think of opening your chest. So the collarbones are pouring off the sides of your shoulders, and you roll it back through, managing where your knees are in space. So those knees shouldn't be rocking out and in at all as you move. And then you can roll up into your bridge, and then micro bend. So bend at the elbow and then straighten the arm, making sure that you're not moving your wrist. So hips are holding the band tight. You can manage where you put your hands on the TheraBand to make it tighter or looser. Keeping your shoulders pouring down, chin is off your chest, and bending and straightening. Same thing, finding that reach to roll all the way down. And then you can come back into that, finding that roll up. And then you pour water off the right side of your hip as you push your left hip up into the TheraBand. Hit center before you do the other side. Wrapping your right hip up into the TheraBand and then hit center. So your shoulders aren't going side to side, your knees are not going side to side. I'm going to think more of like when you pour the water off the right side, it's like your right leg is plugging into your pelvis more, and then you push that knee forward to come back to parallel. Tipping to the side and coming back up, and just getting that side to side work. Feel your seat be the thing that helps press your hip into the TheraBand, and rolling it all the way down. Keeping the band behind your legs, reach your legs up to the ceiling, palms facing down as you find your upper ab curl. And then you're gonna do your hundreds here. So focusing with the legs up nice and high, you're focusing more on the upper ab curl. And when you pump the band shouldn't go in and out. It's going up and down. And you're trying to keep your shoulder being the thing that's moving your arm. So it's not elbows, it's not hands. It really helps integrate the pump of the hundreds into your back. You're gonna do, it's called hundreds because you're inhaling for 5 beats and exhaling for 5 beats, and you do a total of 100 beats. And so if your neck starts to feel a little uncomfortable, you can always come out of it and back into it, or you can just do 50 and then you come out. You're gonna take that band around, put it around your right foot, so the arch of your right foot, and then pull your elbows down into the mat, and you're gonna stir your leg around and really reach into it. So doing these circles, keeping your elbows on the mat, it helps loosen up that ball socket joint. And squeeze your inner thigh. So same thing, shoulders are still open, reverse your circles. Your hands stay as wide as your waist, elbows stay down, and you're just moving your leg in that circular motion, drawing a plate-sized circle on the ceiling, and then switch to the other side. Right leg goes out long, same thing, reach out of it. Try and stretch the band with the lengthening of your leg. If you're a hyperextender, try not to push through the back of your knee. Try to get the reach of your heel to your waist. 5 in each direction, pushing it out to the side, around and up. And you're stabilizing your pelvis with that ab work. So you're reaching the leg that's on the floor. It's not rocking around at all. Once you do 5 and 5, you're gonna put both legs into that TheraBand. And then as you push your feet forward, curl your head up, keep pushing your feet forward as you come all the way up. Pull your elbows back behind you, round over, roll yourself back, push your feet forward, arms will go straight, laying it all the way down, chin to chest. Pull yourself up, pull your elbows back, push your feet forward, and roll it all the way back down. If you're having any trouble keeping your legs down, once you come down here, you can slide your heels in, bend your knees in, reach your legs up. Chin to chest, push your legs down as you roll up. Curl into it. As you roll down, slide your heels in, bend your knees in, reach them up. Press your legs down, curl yourself up, round over. If you can keep your legs straight down on the mat without them lifting, you can go into the other version of keeping your legs down. And then from there, you're gonna just take your legs out nice and long. Take your arms out in front of you. And just lift your arms up and lower them back down. So if this is uncomfortable with your hips, you can bend your knees and just get some mobility there. You can keep the band up, pull your elbows wide, band comes behind your head without your chin jutting forward. And this is a difficult space to sit in. You've got to really press your stomach into your low back to keep your spine happy, your hips happy. Good. And then you reach it all the way up and your spine stretch forward, which means your low back has to pull back behind your sits bones. And then it's like a rolling pin across the inside of your spine as you roll it back up, round over. Exhale, every last atom of air out of your body. Inhale and float it all the way back up. One more like that. Stretch, so push your low back behind you. And then roll it into your lift. Lower those arms down. So another way to get into bridge work is wrapping the band around your legs. So tying a nice knot into it, as tight as you care about, but it's not for necessarily resistance, it's more for direction. So arms down by your side. You're still going to current your thighs forward on your lift, wrap into your glutes, make sure your ribs are still wrapping. From here, you're gonna extend your right leg out and you're just pressing straight out into the band and squeeze it back in, out and in. If this is really firing up that hamstring and it doesn't feel great, you can do all of this with your seat down, pressing into the band so that it's not your foot, your ankle, your shin. It's coming from your seat. And then if you are up here, you can take it into that press of the leg down and just knee to knee. So you're pushing your hamstring into the band and lifting it up so it's not your knee dropping. So really push, and that's a nice way to know where you're moving from. And then finding that lift, bend your knee, replace, extend the other one out and in, stabilizing so right leg doesn't go anywhere. And then if you need to come down and do it with your seat on the mat, that's a good place to do it too. And then lower and lift. So your hips aren't changing, you're pressing the back of your leg down into the TheraBand, down and up and down and up. One more. Press down and up. Bend your knee, roll your spine all the way down into the mat. And then a stabilizer Pilates stance here. Taking your right leg and just pushing from your glute to take it out and bring it back in. So your pelvis isn't going anywhere as you get into that rotation. It's not gonna feel like much, but we're just getting the seat to be the thing that takes it out. So it's not just pushing your knee and going on in, knowing how to stabilize that is our goal. And then the other side, pressing out, wrap your seat towards your sits bone to move. The opposite leg isn't going anywhere. And then from that, I want you to go into an upper ab curl. Put your hands behind your head and then bring your legs up into a tabletop. When you go out, you're pressing your hamstring into the TheraBand, bend it back in. TheraBand, bend it back in. So if you go too low, that's when it rolls. So I want you to really focus on where you're pushing and pulling from. And then you can take it into some scissors. So both legs are gonna go up and you're pushing equal parts into the band, and then you switch, push equally into the band. So the same thing will happen with the band rolling down your legs if you pull into it or drop your leg. Too low, press equal, 3, 2, last one, and in. And then coming into, since it's already on our legs, let's go right into how we work the side body. So bend your bottom knee. If you can get into this space where your hand is propped up and you're not putting weight on your wrist, you can be here. The hold is happening under your armpit. You're gonna just start to lift and lower your leg and pushing this hip away. So why I like this here too is if you go too high, that's when it starts to roll down. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, as I say that, and it's stuck. The only reason why it's not is because I have a zipper here and it's stopping the band. And then finding your reach away, and then you can take your leg, when you kick it forward, you're pushing your quad into the band, squeezing your stomach. And when you take it back, you're pushing the band with your hamstring and squeezing your seat so that it doesn't go into that arc at all. And come forward and back and back. Pumping the ankle is always a good idea. Flex to go forward, point to go back, flex to go forward, point to go back. And then last time here, catching center, squeezing back. You can do small circles here, press back, up and around. Really making sure that you get the press back happening from that hamstring again. This doesn't move at all. And reverse. Go for 6 to 8 circles, 5 reps of the others. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then bending your knees in so that you're in this, like you're sitting in a deep seat, pressing straight up and down. So when you lift, it's not a rotation, it's not a clamshell, it's just lifting straight up without your pelvis rocking back. So you can always put your hand on the back of your pelvis to make sure that it's not moving. You can do this up against a wall. That gives a lot of, and that really helps make your head stay into the right spot. Last one there. And then if it's still not tired, you put your foot into the band and you stretch it out, bend it in and press. And this is kind of like a one-legged squat without any pressure on that knee. You pull in, your seat is pushing behind you, and then you stand on your foot. So your heel has to go to be in line with your seat when you press on it. 2. And last one. And bend it all the way in, put it back around your thighs, and then come all the way up and flip to the other side. And then, now that worked leg has to stabilize. So you reach it all the way out. Make sure you got that length, going for that lift in the lower. And the more you push out, and I'm really just squeezing my seat. I'm not trying to push my leg way high. It's like you're just getting this to start to wake up, that it's turn to work. Keeping a gentle scoop to the deep core, and then holding it up, you draw it forward into the TheraBand, you point your toe and you sweep it back. Hip opener, hamstring stretch. Hip opener, lengthen, right? So when we're moving, if that hip flips forward and back, we miss it. So make sure this stays nice and plugged. Reach on both ends, press with your hamstring, squeeze with your abs. And then you go into your circle. So stir it around. Press back, lift up and forward. Again, just the awareness of that band being that back there. Sometimes we can live our circles a little too far forward, reverse it. Around. And I still don't know how to count even when I'm just here recording things and doing it on my own. 4, 3, 2, last one. And then bend your knees in, feel like you're in a deep seat. So this is where if you're tucked and kind of rolled back, you got to change your position and feel like your sits bones could get wide and up against a wall. And you press up and down. lift and lower, press and lower, press. So this lift is happening in this spot. And then you're gonna keep that leg up and you press out and pull it back in. Just kidding, isn't that the one? No, I've already forgotten. But you can take it around your foot, press this way. So you can do it both ways, really. This is a little more intense, a little more resistance. If you keep it just around your leg, right, you'll still get the press of the hamstring in that direction, which is good. And then reach and pull it back in. Press and pull it back in. Last, and pull it back in. And then you can take your foot all the way out of that and come on up. So you can take this into a push-up. It's not super comfortable, but if you put it around your arms, taking your hands out, bringing your knees are gonna stay down, and you bend your elbows narrow and press it back up. It kind of keeps you from collapsing that chest. So your waist goes with you as you do these push-ups. 3, lift, 2, push the floor away from you every time you come up, and then shift it back. Undo the TheraBand so it's not in a knot, and then, or totally just break it. That's the first. Okay. So take it out nice and long on your mat. Your left hand is gonna press down on it. Right hand, your knuckles come to the side. So do a couple tuck and tilts and just make sure that you're in a neutral. So your lumbar spine isn't too curved and you're not too tucked, belly's on. Lift your hand up to hip height and lower it back down. When you're lifting and lowering your arm, you have to spiral your shoulder open and then lift your hand. So if you lift and your shoulder's reaching down, again, you're gonna miss the point of this one. So know where that shoulder girdle is spiraling from. And then you're gonna leave it up there. You keep your elbow by the side seam of your shirt as you bend and straighten. And then keep pushing the floor away so that that left arm, you're not dumping on your wrist, keeping your hips over your knees. So same thing, you're not putting too much pressure on your wrist. And last one, same thing, other side, stabilize, lift and lower. Roll your collarbones. Both of them have to roll out, lift, pull up, draw it. And then same thing, you can do 6 to 10, and then you leave them up, and then keep your elbow right where it is. So elbow doesn't go up and down at all. You're pressing away, drawing it back, pressing away, and drawing it back. 3, 2, and last one. And then you can come down on your stomach. And from here, forehead is down, and then tighten into your stomach, into that long spine. And then you're gonna lift your arms and your head, pull the bar to your chest, or the band to your chest. Stay up as you reach it back out and lower it down. Lift everything, pull back, reach forward and down. So you're not lifting so high that you dump into your low back, but the abdominal wall, you should feel this a little bit in your back as far as the muscles on either side of your spine. Pull, reach, lower. Last time, lift, pull, reach, and lower. Push yourself all the way back up. You can hit a child's pose or a round back if you need it there. And then these are definitely out of order, but a way that you can get some twisting in. Take the band behind you, reach your arms out to the side, and then go for a big twist. So if you need to bend your knees, do it. If you can keep them down, leave them. Rotate, and then when you bend your nose towards your knee, pull the TheraBand apart. When you come back up, make sure you get tall and sit tall without your shoulders in your ears. So it's a twist, round your nose towards your knee and pull the band apart as you round over. Sit all the way back up and stay out. Rotate, push it away. pull it back up. Sit up tall, rotate, push the band away, pull it all the way up, and sit up tall. And you can definitely do more of those if it feels good. One thing that, if you are home and to play with, if you're able to sit on your heels, do that. You can also put the ball underneath your seat there. And what I want you to do is tuck into your pelvis so much you find that internal scoop, right? And then from there, squeeze your stomach into your low back so this is all rounded. And you're gonna start to keep your abs on, but pick your chest up. Like you could go into a bit of a back bend without arcing this low back. Stomach stays strong and on, chest goes up, and then pull it back into a scoop. This is mini, but it's super focused. Belly stays on, lift your chest with the abs still squeezing to your back, and lift your chest up, and then scoop it back. And just feel how strong that is. And then come out of it, and I want you just to arc your back a lot, right? So big curve here. And then I want you to try and squeeze your abs. And it should feel like you can't turn anything on, okay? Right? So if we're here, really hard to turn our core on. If we're a little bit into that rounded spot, easier to access. So when you're doing your work, if this is too curved, it's gonna be hard to access your abs. If you can't access your abs, then it gets into a bit of that back pain, which you wanna stay away from. And Chris Knickerbocker is here. So I'm gonna sign off. She's like, what? I lost track of time.